Hey, I'm Jen Anderson, and I'm a life coach for Stronger Because Coaching. And I put a lot of videos out there created to help people solve some of the really common problems in life and challenges that we come up with. And the ways that I've learned these things is I've studied, but I've also applied them to my own life and try to use them and try to become stronger because of the things that I've been through and use my challenges to actually become better instead of using them as proof that I'm broken or damaged, that things are wrong. And I'm just going to get a little personal today. This doesn't apply to everybody, but it can. But I'm going to share just personally my thoughts about God that help me cope. And I brought you up in the mountains. We're in a hammock today. I just I just felt like it. I'm on a hike and just set up a hammock halfway through and took a nap, and we're just relaxing a little bit in some beautiful country. But while I was on my way up here, I was on my four-wheeler and ran into a farmer's field that was completely on fire. Like, it was just going like crazy. Everything's really dry right now, and I looked and they had wheat that was wrapped up in bales, and all the bales of wheat were just on fire like marshmallows that are flaming by the side of the fire ring on the ground. And I thought, what must those people be thinking and going through right now? I can imagine some of the thoughts that are going through their minds are like, what are we going to do? What if this gets worse? What in the world are we going to do now? And this is so bad. This is so horrible. This is exactly what we dreaded happening for years. And I started thinking about times in my life when it has just felt like it was on fire, and worrying myself if this was going to spread. Is this going to get worse? And how in the world am I going to cope with it? And how am I ever going to go back to normal? And so some of the thoughts that I've come up with, they're not my own. They're ones that I've heard that have just brought so much comfort and peace into my life. I just want to share them. And my biggest one is God is conspiring for your good. Stop resisting. And I've been able to go through my life, especially the last several years, with that kind of a thought in my mind, and I've just replaced it. I've just chosen to use it sometimes when I'm tempted to say everything's gone wrong. The world has gone crazy. This shouldn't be happening. Something's broken. Something is wrong. Instead, I go ahead and revert over to something that brings me a little more peace and comfort, and that is God, the universe is conspiring for my good. Stop resisting. And so, what I find is immediately when I have that kind of a thought, I start going along the lines of, okay, how could this be for my good? And even past that, how can I use this to create good in my life? It's been an evolution. And what I find is now when a challenge comes up, the first thing I'm thinking is, how can I use this to become stronger? How can I use this to become better? And I see myself and God as co creators, creating something amazing with whatever resources are put my way. And sometimes those resources look like a diagnosis of a chronic illness, or the resources are a challenge in a friendship, or the resources even are a death. And I know that sometimes it feels conflicting to try to make something good out of something that feels so bad and so wrong. But when I'm assuming, what if this is actually right? How do I know that things have gone wrong? How do I know that there isn't a greater plan in place that's designed for my good? And then I start thinking of evidence in my life and in things that I've read or people that I've known of, even when something looks like an absolute disaster, and I start thinking, how could this possibly even be right? Like, we look at some of the crimes that are committed that are horrible. Or like, seriously, no, absolutely not. There's nothing that could be right or planned, and we want to think that there isn't even something that could possibly be. But then I go to a story about a completely perfect and innocent man put up on a cross, and I know that if I had been there, I would have been like, this is horrible. This is terrible. This is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And it indicates that everything's going to be terrible, and this is what it indicates about the world. This is what it indicates about society. This is what it indicates about God. But it ended up being the most perfect, wonderful, amazing thing for all of us. And I know that if those kinds of things exist out there, and if I can look and start to find some things out there and go to the next step and start creating things out there that take something that could be horrible, that is completely out of my control, and try to find a way to at least make something good come of it, it starts to bring some purpose to me. And it starts to bring some purpose to what I can strive for, even in the midst of something just really, really feels catastrophic. And, I don't know if it's true. I won't know until after I die. But here's what I do know is that when I believe it's true, I'm filled with hope and compassion and creativity. I get very in the mode of problem solving. I start looking for the good. I'm filled with gratitude. I'm filled with wonder. I'm filled with amazement. I'm filled with all kinds of feelings, faith, things that help me act and show up in the world the way I truly want to. As opposed to when I'm thinking, this is horrible, everything's gone wrong, I notice that I start to feel helpless and hopeless and discouraged. And the action that I take in that kind of a place doesn't help me get to where I want to be, which is continually improving, continually striving, continually trying to help people around me, serve those around me. And so I just want to offer that thought just for you today, that what if God or the universe is conspiring for your good? What if the worst things that are happening could actually be part of a plan that you co-create to make something better? What could your life be? And how would it feel different from the life that tells us that everything has gone wrong, the world is crazy, this isn't supposed to be happening? Like, for me, it's amazing. And I just want to share that with you today. Could you use some insight into how to apply these things into your life today? Just find a link for a free consult on strongerbecause.com.